want to talk about there's a special story, and it kind of shows how cool Nas is and how we need more hip hop, like people who are producing, obviously rappers, producers, to start to behave like Nas and Jay-Z. I guess age comes with wisdom, but there's certain things that these guys done that we need to do more. And you can see like these other rappers and how they behave, and they're not, they're business, right? They're all businessmen. They all have brands. They're very wealthy people, but they just act childish. They act in these ways that is detrimental to them, and I feel like to the culture, So this is an interesting story. This is from Drink Champs podcast with Noriega. I've got the other guy's name, but really good podcast. If you love hip hop, you listen, because they really get a lot of these rappers to talk and throw out really cool stories. So that Jeezy is the guest, and his story is kind of when he was on, like he was the man, right? Like he was really running things back in like 2000, early 2000s. And Nas dropped an album called Hip Hop Is Dead.
Mm-hmm.
He took a slight towards that because he was on. They both were in the same label. But I don't want to say too much of the story. We're going to put up right now. It's about 2 minutes, but I think it's a pretty cool story. Let me see if I can grab it. Yeah.
This shot was directed towards Atlanta.
Right.
And you was vocal about
South
that.
as a whole.
Well, true story. I met Nas in 112 bathroom. We used to use the bathroom. I was in there with all my chains.
You got a lot of bathroom stories.
Yeah.
Wait, Prime 112?
No, 112 the club.
Oh, 112. Okay.
Like, it's historical. And I met him in the bathroom. We both use the bathroom. I go to the thing, wash my hands. You wash his hands. I'm like, yo, I'm Jeezy. He's like, yeah, what's up? But I kind of felt like, you know what I'm saying? Like he didn't really give me what I wanted. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, you don't know me, so I'm gonna use that for motivation.
Right.
So when I finally got on, I'm on Def Jam, on the same, I think it was on Def Jam at the time. I'm on the same label you on, and I'm popping.
Right.
So when I heard Hip Hop Is Dead, I immediately felt like, like you basically saying because I'm on now. Right. So they baited me in. They was like, what do you think about what he said? I was like, Nas ain't never bust his gun. I'm just going in, but I don't even know him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the craziest thing is, there's a lot of people in this game that I don't have respect for because it's all a facade.
Right.
It's all about the money. It's all about the clout. It's all about, what they want you to believe. But the more conversations Nas and I had, I feel like he's hip hop's elite.
Right.
Because he is the big homie.
But how does this conversation start from you disagreeing with his statement?
Because how he handled me.
Okay.
He called me. He said, yo, what's up, young? He called me.
Oh, okay.
Off of that.
Oh, so you go crazy on the radio.
He called my phone.
So okay.
I was ready to go to war about it. I was ready for him to say something crazy. I just couldn't wait. He said, what's up, King? He said, peace, King. I said, yo, what's going on? He's like, I can understand why you feel the way you feel. And he just kind of walked me through what his thought process was.
Dope.
And I felt so crazy on that phone. You know what I'm saying? By the time we got, I was like, yeah, I love your music. You know what I'm saying? we ought to do a song together one day, And he was like, yeah, no, whatever you want. And when I called him for My President Is Black, he said, I got you. He sent that shit back in like 2 days. And pulled up in Atlanta in the hood by himself with a driver to shoot the video. And everything that I ever done in life that was an accomplishment for me, it's like a top 5 people that'll give me a call. One is Hove, the other one is Nas. He always, he hit me the other day. It's like, peace, King, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Or, peace, King, I see you, that's it. And to me, that's what leading by leadership is about, because if he would have got on my level and matched my energy, who knows what that would be.
It would have been all turmoil. Right. It would have been bad.
But not even just it being all bad. He would have instilled something in me to make me be like that when the next young cat say something about me.
Yeah, man. I caught that. It was a random video that I saw on YouTube. I was like, yeah, that's a pretty cool story, because as a man dealing with egos, right? Egos is such a big deal that Nas could have made a diss track on him, could have ethered him. He could have done, but he called him and said, I understand how you feel. And that's a lot of it with a lot of just interacting with people, relationships. When you can say that, it kind of disengages the hostility, right? He's like, I understand how you feel. Me saying that, you on, And he explained it to him to a point at the end. He's like, we could do some songs together. And they have a few songs together. He said it later on. He was like, when I want to do the My President's Black, he hit Nas up. Nas did the song, and 2 weeks came to his spot to do the video. It's like that's a kind of leadership that Nas, and that's why I feel like Nas is, you know, like when we say he's the GOAT, because of that.
And I don't, and honestly, the more I've been thinking about this, and I told Hannibal this, I think the other day or today, on Wednesday, on the way to Virginia, I listened to every Nas album, every one, from beginning to end. And a couple songs I listened to twice. You know, I re-listened to I started with Magic, and then I went to Illmatic and went, whoop, all the stuff. I didn't listen to the last 2, KD 3 and 2, because those are recent in my mind. But everything else I listened to. We went back and listened to Magic, Godson, which Hannibal, I believe, had in his top 5, and I forgot how good of an album that is. Life is Good. Listen to all, you know, Hip Hop is Dead, where Nas is sitting over the grave with the rose. Like, you know, just I listened to all of it, and it just, to me, just reminded myself why he is the GOAT. And I don't honestly think it's even close. I really don't. His discography is unmatched to anybody. And Hove has a great one. You know, there's a lot of other artists that have good, you know, Kanye's discography is really solid, right? Yeah. Eminem, like there's a lot of other artists out here, but it's not even close. It's just not. And, you know, hearing a story like that is, it's similar to like when you hear about these young cats talk about Kobe, right? And an interaction they had with Kobe, or like you hear these old stories about like Larry Bird or MJ, you know, or something like that, right? And or Tom Brady, like the greats of what they do. It's like you hear these other guys talk about Nas, and they're giving him flowers. Like, he's the GOAT. There isn't really, you know, some would say Hove maybe because he, you know, but as far as music, if we're talking just music and then a few other things outside and how they've inspired and how they've been men within the business and for how long, the longevity, like it's amazing, man.